Greetings, Local 2627 sisters and brothers. Today is March 26th, and a very short message out to you today. The first thing I want to talk about is the people who are not in the pension plan. If you're not in the pension plan, you have until midnight, March 31st, to get your documentation in. This documentation, by the way, has to be notarized. You're going to have to go to a notary public and get your documents notarized. Again, March 31st, midnight, March 31st is the deadline. You're going to have to do that if you want to be in Tier 4. Otherwise, you're going to be in Tier 6, and you're not going to have a lot of things that we have in Tier 4. Again, March 31st. And remember, the whole reason that we have these jobs, that we settle for less pay and things like that, is so we'd have some type of security in our golden years at the end of our career. And they're trying to dismantle these benefits, and Tier 6 dismantles them a little bit. You know, and they're going to keep on trying to break us down. Because remember, last year, a year ago, it was just a Tier 5. Now they're already at Tier 6. We need to be aware of this, and we need to send a message out to these politicians that we're not going to allow this. The slipped this on us. Some of the politicians even took money for campaign contributions from DC 37, and they sandbagged us. We need to send a message. We need to put fear in their hearts. If they don't do the right thing, we're going to make sure we get them out of office. You know that the Republican Senate is trying to get rid of Medicare because they don't care anything about the people who are old or poor. I mean, things like that, or maybe have some type of disability. They don't care one way or another. They don't want to share in the burden because they have their benefits taken care of for the rest of their lives. So stay aware of that. When you go to the polls, make sure you go to the polls and do the right thing. If you don't know who to vote for, don't worry. DC 37 and this local will let you know who you're supposed to vote for, who has our interest in heart. Where are we with the contract right now? We have not heard anything since the last time James Hanley, the commissioner, came to us and said they're going to give us the same thing, basically what they gave the Public Employee Federation of New York State. Zeros for the first 3 years of the contract, 2 twos, one in the fourth year and one in the fifth year, plus furlough. You know, and when we're talking about furloughs, we're talking about almost, I think it's about 10 days of furlough. And remember, furloughs, you don't get paid. I mean, you're just out with no pay. So they're telling you to stay from work and don't come in. I mean, besides enhancements like raising the retirement age and things like that. So be aware of this. Make sure you do the right thing and make sure you always vote. You always got to vote. We need to send a message to them. One of the things that I've noticed that we've had a couple of issues with is the standby time language in the contract. It's old language. It refers to if you have to stand by your home, and we've run into a couple of problems at a couple of agencies who are trying to hold us to task for that. They don't want to pay members standby time because they're saying because the members don't have to stand by their homes anymore. Now remember, when that language of the contract was written, we're talking about 1995. People had beepers. I mean, now, and people didn't walk around with laptops and things like that like they do now. So now, if you're on standby time, you can actually connect from any place. So that's old language that we want to change. The other thing that we want to change is the language behind annual leave. Now, people know in a citywide, for example, that 7 days notice. You have to notify the agency 7 days prior to you going out on annual leave. You have to make that request. Now, if the agency does not respond to you in 7 days, then it's assumed that you were granted this leave. Now, every now and then we run into a problem with one of the agencies that try to say, well, you know, we didn't take care of the paperwork, but we didn't say the person can go. Well, you know, the reality is that if no one responds within 7 days with a negative, it means that you're affirmed to go on your leave. What I'm requesting is that the language be changed so that it says that in black and white, so we don't have to go through these changes when our members going through all the hassle of worrying about they bought their plane tickets or they haven't been able to buy their plane tickets because they haven't got any affirmation of whether they can go or not. And remember, once your leave is approved, and I don't care the 7 day part, once your leave is approved, period, the only way it can be rescinded is by the highest person in your agency, or the direct representative of that highest person in your agency. So remember that. Your manager can't come up one day and just say, I'm denying your leave once it's been granted. It has to come from a much higher authority. Good and welfare this week, we've had no good and welfare. Everybody seems to be healthy, or there seems to be no deaths. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Anyway, until next year, I'm saying next year. Until next week, it's Robert Ajayi in solidarity. And vote, please.